Welcome. Hi. Finally, how are you? Fine, fine. Let's see, how are you? This is a video clip. Copy a new stand. I beg your pardon? I take a new video which they're showing on the news program to the outside. I thought they were running.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Oh, Christmas is the biggest celebration. Big so.
Thank you, thank you. I am really glad to finally welcome Secretary John Kerry back to the Philippines. We can never forget the days of the snap elections in 1986, when, as a member of the observer delegation sent by the United States to monitor the elections, he spoke out against the massive and blatant cheating being done by the dictator's forces and supporters. I am told that Secretary Kerry then was actually the one who urged President Reagan to tell Mr. Marcos that it was time to go. In the quarter century since, whether he was gaining seniority in the US Congress, championing the cause of veterans, including Filipinos who fought shoulder to shoulder with American soldiers during the Second World War, or today as Secretary of State, strongly supporting the rule of law in moving towards the peaceful resolution of tensions in this region, Filipinos have been proud to call him a true friend of our country and of our democracy. Today, as we gather to recognize the ties of the past, we are also here to reaffirm our commitment to building a better future together. Our relationship is founded on an intertwined history whose future rests on our mutual regard for one another and our shared vision to advance peace, stability, and positive engagement in the international community. A tangible representation of this friendship was the significant assistance extended to us by the United States in the wake of Typhoon Haiyan. Whether it was by augmenting our humanitarian response efforts or by generously providing relief goods and much-needed aid, your concern for Filipinos was clear. In fact, the presence of the United States in relief efforts reminds us of a time in our history when Filipinos and Americans stood in solidarity for an important cause, particularly in Central Visayas, which has areas rich in historical associations for Filipinos and Americans. Then as today, we consider the United States as a true friend and partner, one who has exhibited a committed desire to help uplift our people. For this, we are truly grateful. Just as we appreciate the readiness at which the U.S. came to our aid, we also appreciate the fact that Secretary Kerry is here with the full authority of the President of the United States to discuss matters that will contribute to further strengthening the strategic partnership our nations share. Our conversation today was therefore not only pleasant, but also extremely productive, and it leaves me optimistic that moving forward, the historic friendship between our countries will only grow deeper and more meaningful. Thank you, and good evening, and with that, may I propose a toast? To Secretary Kerry, the American people, thank you for all the friendship and support throughout the decades and centuries. Thank you. Ambassador. Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Well, Mr. President and Mr. President of the Senate, Mr. Speaker of the House, distinguished cabinet members, and ladies and gentlemen, I was introduced to enough cabinet members a moment ago that I thought maybe we could just make a deal tonight and get all our business done. I'm really very honored to be here with all of you in the beautiful Malacañan Palace on the banks of the river. This is an extraordinary house. I gather it was built, I think, around 1802. And I know that this once housed, in the early 1900s, the governors generals of the United States, and now, fittingly and more appropriately, is the home of the presidency and the home of the democracy. And so it is wonderful to come back here. I will confess to you, the first time I came in here, was when President Marcos was still here. And I spent a long 5-hour meeting with him, which inspired me to go back and change our policy in the United States. I also was miraculously and strangely invited to breakfast with Imelda Marcos the next morning. And that was a very interesting breakfast, suffice it to say. But the experience of being here left me with an indelible impression. And I want to just share with you. When I had the privilege of coming back here to watch the people power movement take hold in that extraordinary election, which brought the president's mother to power, it was really one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen. And I was in several parts of the country at the time of the election. I was down in Mindanao, and then came back up here to Manila the evening of the election and was watching the returns from all over the country. But I will never, ever forget how inspiring it was to see people waiting in these long, long lines in the hot sun, excited, patient, unbelievably committed to voting. I've never seen the power of the vote more movingly, emotionally, and inspirationally stated than it was on that day. And of course, in the evening, when I was summoned from the hotel to go to the cathedral to meet with these women who had taken refuge in the sacristy of the church, they poured their hearts out to me in tears, telling me how they were putting the numbers in that were coming from around the country, but the numbers coming out of the computer on the tote board were completely different and obviously much less than what they had put in. That was the moment. And it was a moment that changed the history of the Philippines. It was a moment that said something about democracy, about transparency and accountability, and most importantly, about the will of the people and the need to respect it. That's what democracy is about, and that's what we share together. So it's wonderful for me to come back here. I confess to having fallen in love with the narrow wood, which nobody can buy anymore. But this is a very, very beautiful place. And more importantly, the people of the Philippines are beautiful people. Smiling, energized, and unbelievably strong, as we have seen in their amazing resilience as they fight back against the extraordinary forces of Mother Nature. The super typhoon that hit here put everybody to the test. And it is clear that we found new meaning in our relationship as we saw the United States join hands with you in order to respond to the needs of so many people. So I'm pleased to come here today on behalf of President Obama and the American people to rekindle the ties between us, to reaffirm America's commitment to help in this effort to rebuild, and to continue to stand with the Philippines as we share values and aspirations and a lot of history so that we deal with the problems of the South China Sea, the problems of the challenge of meeting the aspirations of our people, the challenges of security, of growing our economies, of building a new trade relationship, and indeed living up to the hopes of the people who give us these responsibilities. So, Mr. President, I ask everybody to drink to your health, to the resilience of the relationship between the United States and the Philippines, and may we both succeed in meeting the hopes of our people. Thank you, sir.